What is going on, traders? Welcome back to the Traveling Trader. Happy Friday to you. Wow, interesting things in the market. Total crypto market cap is up around $6 billion. Bitcoin dominance at a whopping 55%. You see most of the top coins in USD are green. Leading the way is Litecoin. Not surprisingly, if you follow the trade alerts, I'll go over Litecoin in a second. If you want access to the trade alerts, link is in the description. We've been sending out trade alerts for Litecoin consistently since November when it was back at $30. EOS up 6.5%, Bitcoin Cash 7.5%. You get the picture, so on and so forth. If you saw my video from yesterday, I was saying that Bitcoin is looking bullish in the interim. You see the Adam and Eve pattern forming here on the 1 day, turning into essentially the Adam and Eve pattern is lodged within this general cup and handle pattern, right? You see the cup and then the handle here. And this is going to be a tough barrier to break, man. The spot that Bitcoin is at now, this is essentially, at the breakout of the cup and handle. You see the golden cross here between the 50 and the 200, obviously. And the great thing is that volume continues to rise. As you see here on the on balance volume, you want to see this volume flow trending upwards and positively. Now, in the short term, we definitely might see a breather or a break in Bitcoin's upward rally. And the reason I say that, if I just remove all these drawing tools so it's not so messy, but you see that the price here is consistently making higher highs, right? Well, what is the RSI doing? The RSI, same time period, is making lower highs, right? What is the MACD doing? Same thing. The MACD is making lower highs. This is called bearish divergence. And we did see that a bit. If we snap these trend lines back a couple of weeks or so, you'll see that the same thing happened back in April 25th. You had the price making a higher high, MACD, RSI making lower highs, and then you saw a dip from that period. The price went from around 5,600 back down to 5,100 or so. The low was actually below 5,000. But yeah, you can attribute that to the divergence as well. And now we're seeing the divergence rear its head again. So I mean, we might see a cooler from this level. It's going to take a lot to break and close above this trend line that we drew earlier, which is basically the resistance of the cup and handle, the complete formation of the pattern here. Now, as I said before, we can't say that Bitcoin is in a true reversal until we cross this line right here, which is at around 6,500. And the reason is because obviously we see the drop off from here, right? This is the previous swing high. So we need to close above the previous swing high for there to be a true reversal. Now, it really depends on how you define it. I mean, for 2019, Bitcoin definitely opened and has rallied further than its closing of 2018, right? But that doesn't mean that we're in a true reversal if you're measuring the market as a whole. If you're taking into account 2018 prices, we need to close above the previous swing high at around 6,500. Now, could we get there? Yes, of course we can. And there is something that something quiet that's happening that people aren't really talking about. But E-Trade, which has $5 million customers, $5 million, 5 million customers, is they tested out their Bitcoin trading and they're ready to launch their Bitcoin trading platform. That's 5 million potential customers. Obviously, not every customer is going to buy Bitcoin, but those customers will be exposed to Bitcoin pricing. And Ameritrade, which is even bigger, and this is actually the platform that I use for stock trading. We'll get into stocks later, but Ameritrade has 11 million customers, and they're testing out Bitcoin for this year. And Ameritrade has over $1 trillion under management, right? So, I mean, if you add those things up, plus what's going on in the market, without Ameritrade and without E-Trade, we are already seeing this bullish rally for 2019. Just think what happens when we, expose Bitcoin to that high number of potential clients. Now, I'm not saying that, that's all we need in order to see a reversal, but you certainly can't discount that type of exposure, right? So anyway, Let us look at the 1 week real quick, because this will also give us a sense for what's going on long term. So you see the Adam and Eve pattern on the 1 week, and the resistance was definitely at the 50 week, right? We couldn't 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. This is the 4th week, and we finally broke above the 50. You can see it here. We have the MACD trending up, the RSI trending up, the on balance volume on the 1 week is amazing. Then again, this is Bitstamp's chart, so take that into account. But you see the breadth of these green candles as well. The bounce off the 200 week was just insane. And just to give you some perspective, we haven't been over the 50 week since May of 2018. One other thing, these patterns that we see, the cup and handle, the Adam and Eve, double bottoms, etc., these are all typical reversal patterns that you see coming off of downtrends. So a break and a close above those patterns would provide another point of confirmation, potentially signaling the reversal is upcoming. I'm a realist though, so yes, we will talk about a bearish scenario in a second. There isn't one scenario, right? I mean, crypto YouTube and crypto Twitter has people messed up. The misinformation is just outrageous. TA isn't meant to predict the single pattern that an asset will take, right? You have to provide different scenarios so that you can manage your risk and manage your trades accordingly. That's all it is. It's not saying, oh yeah, I was right, Bitcoin did this, or Tesla did this, or Apple did this. It's so that you're able to manage your trades and manage your risk accordingly, know where to set your entry and exit points, which options to potentially buy, whether you should get into a stock or not, whether you should short or not, etc. Anyway, rant over. Looking at the 1 month chart, the 1 month, we are now above the 21 EMA, which is this blue line, and you see the rounding bottom pattern forming nicely on the 1 month. We actually last month in April closed above the 21 month EMA by something like $26. Yeah, you see the EMA value here. If we hover over last month, it was 52.43, and up here you'll see the close of the candle. It was at 52.69. So $26, we closed above that 21 month EMA, and we are now clearly above it for this month. But it's still May 3rd. Anything can happen, obviously. So going back to the 1 day, here is the bearish scenario. The bearish scenario is that this resistance of the cup and handle gets rejected heavily, and the bearish divergence has its intended effect, and we do see a rejection back down to previous support levels. Now, where is the previous support level in this case? Well, just by eyeballing it, you could tell there's a clear support level around here, which is just under 5,000. We can call it 5,000, especially because there does tend to be a round number bias. The next level down, I would say, is the 50-day moving average, right? Right now, it's at around between 47 and 4,800. So those two is where I would be eyeballing a potential retracement after a rejection. And what would I be doing here under 5,000? Well, I'll definitely be buying more Bitcoin. Oh, and that just another point that brings up another point is that I have a stop limit set on my Bitcoin, because now we're at 5,700. So what's the point of rallying if we're not going to protect those profits? Shout out to all you hodlers out there. One last thing I'll bring up. Let us bring up the shorts real quick. I actually didn't take a look at this before the video, but if we look at the shorts, essentially what we want to see is what is the viability of a short squeeze effect. I'm pretty certain that it has taken shape. Yeah, okay, so let me just clear out the moving averages real quick, because it makes it hard to see. This orange line right here is the Bitcoin shorts, right? This is coming from Bitfinex. So if you look at the shorts, you see this dip here, right? There's a dip here going down, and that is due to this price rally, right? Obviously, when the price rallies like this, you see these 4 tall green candles here, these healthy green candles. When the price rallies like this, what does it tend to do? Well, one of two things happen. Either people get scared and close their shorts, or the exchange liquidates it for you, depending on you know, how much leverage you had and where your entry price was and whatnot. So a short squeeze effect definitely has happened and propelled us to this level. But obviously you see this rising string of shorts since April 8th, right? It's just been on an uptrend. So there definitely there is definitely a lot more to go in terms of a short squeeze if the price keeps rallying further. Now, for those of you that have shorts open, you know, at around 57 or 5,800, I'm assuming a lot of those people, you know, don't have faith that Bitcoin could get over this hump, so they'll leave their shorts open. And it just becomes a battle between bulls and bears, right? So if we do start rallying above this, you'll see those shorts close even further, which will propel a further short squeeze and the price will start ticking upward. Now, I don't want you guys, I've said this before, but I don't want you to get the sense that a short squeeze is going to take us from 5,000 to 10,000, right? It's usually something that happens very sporadically and it happens in chunks, right? So when the price rallies up a little bit, it closes out a bunch of shorts and then the price tends to stagnate. And if it rallies further, then it will swallow up a few more shorts along the way because people have their shorts set at different levels, right? Not everyone's going to have their shorts set at 5,500. For instance. All right, and three of the coins that we saw really nice gains from. LTC, obviously, if you've been following this channel for a while, you know I'm heavy into LTC. We sold for profits, you know, basically using a trailing stop as it rallied down from 90. And we were looking for entry points. You see LTC finding support here. 1, 2, 3 candles at around between the $67 and $70 level. I started scaling in at the 0.382, which is at around $70. Bought a little bit more at this support level. And now we are seeing a rally and it is up 8.5% today. You could see the MACD set up really nicely for an upward movement. The RSI continues its trend upward. This volume, I would like to see it kick up a little more. Without that, we're going to be hard pressed to see a move to $90, but the market is probably going to cool off for a few days, especially taking into account that it's Friday and, you know, the weekend is definitely a lower volume trading period. Again, link is in the description if you want access to the trade alerts. The diamond traders and above gives you access to the stock alerts as well, and we do the voice group chats if you're part of the diamond traders and above. Looking at EOS, this one is up almost 12% since we started scaling in. You see EOS here finding support at the 50-day after retracing down from almost the $6 level. The trailing stop, you know, sold us out for profit and we started buying back at the support of this 50-day. You see it was really resting on the 50-day for over a week, and you can consider this a viable re-entry period. All right, looking at the traditional markets, the markets have been going kind of crazy today. You see the NASDAQ up almost 1.5%. The S&P 500 almost up 8%, the Dow up 0.75%. And here's the crazy thing: if you follow the stock trade alerts, I put in a short at on the SPY when it hit 295, and it got rejected at 295. Back down to 291. That was a profitable play for us. This is definitely major resistance for the S&P. I mean, this is a major inflection point in market history. Even obviously we're at all-time highs. You see the inverse head and shoulders clearly. You see the golden cross. There's definitely bearish divergence between the price and the MACD and the RSI, and it's just a matter of seeing whether the market is comfortable being above the all-time high. We did get heavily rejected back in September and October and fell all the way down. This was, I think this had to be, you know, a bear market or considered a bear market. Yeah, I mean, it was just over 20% drop and it lasted around 2 months. So that would fall under the definition of a bear market for the S&P. And then we rallied back up, now touching the all-time high again. I did send out that trade alert in the diamond trade alert section. Again, sign up if you want access to that. Disney, we saw a drop from its all-time high at around, you know, 141, 142. And it is now finding support at around the 0.236 fib level. I'm definitely buying more Disney on the retraces for the long term. I think it's going to be a breakout year for Disney. It already has been, but I think with the launch of Disney Plus, their streaming service, as well as all of their movies are going to break records this year. I mean, Avengers is already killing it, but you have The Lion King, you have Aladdin, you have Toy Story 4, you have Frozen 2. I mean, it's just going to be a multi-billion-dollar year for Disney just in movies alone, let alone their streaming service, which is launching later this year. So I'm definitely extremely bullish on Disney and will continue to buy the dips. And I will be doing a string of videos about how to buy options on Robinhood. A lot of you have been asking me about that. You know, I mean, buying stocks is straightforward on Robinhood. They actually have an extremely clean interface, but I will be showing you how to buy options and doing like a very beginner's intro to options, because that is something that, you know, it allows you to enter the stock market without much capital, especially high price stocks like Amazon or Google, or even Disney. $140 a share might be, you know, out of reach for some people who are just starting out trading. Obviously, this comes with the caveat that options are extremely risky, way more risky than just buying the underlying stock. But being that most of you are in crypto, I'm sure you're welcoming of that risk. All right. That is it for this video. Go ahead and leave a thumbs up if you got anything out of this video. If you want to see, you know, if you have suggestions for certain videos that you want to see, leave that in the comment section below. If you have a question, leave it there as well. Sign up if you want access to the trade alerts. Remember, the Diamond Traders and above gives you access to the stock trade alerts as well. And we do the group voice chat sessions where we talk about trades, we talk about coins, we talk about stocks, portfolio management, etc., and just exchange tips and strategies with each other. So they're really fun when they happen. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Stay safe out there. Peace.